Hello friends, welcome and namaskar. In this particular video, we'll be talking about the stages of problem solving. We'll be discussing the meaning, definition, and then we'll be discussing the various stages of problem solving. Let us start with the definition of the problem solving. It is the simplest definition. The process of finding solutions to problem. See, it is important here. You have to observe one thing that it is not one solution. It's clearly mentioned. It is solutions. Means the process of finding several solutions to problem. So this is the simplest and the one-liner definition of the problem solving. Apart from that, the cognitive process starts in the event of some problems or hurdles and ends when a solution is found or goal is reached. This is the second definition. It says that there is a three component in the problem solving process. There is a cognitive process which gets initiated the moment we face a challenge or a problem or hurdle, and it ends the point at which we find the solution or we reach the goal. So it doesn't mean that your cognitive process only starts with the when you face the problem. No, the specific cognitive process that is particular to the problem or the hurdle, that only starts with the whenever we face the problem, and it ends the moment we reach the goal or we find a specific or a most suitable solution. Apart from this, we'll be discussing one more definition, that is problem solving is thinking. Here, this definition, as given by this also, he emphasized that problem solving is a process that involves thinking, that is directed towards the solving of a specific problem, that involves both the formation of responses and the selection among possible responses. So here the little bit direction is different, where problem solving is considered as a thinking process, though thinking is a part of the cognitive domain or cognitive process. In that, there is that thinking has to be goal directed. You know what is the goal? Goal is that is the specific problem you faced, you have to find the solution to that problem. So that is the goal. So this means your problem solving is a thinking that is directed towards the particular goal. And apart from that, along with that, rather I say, a formation of various responses, organization of various responses, and out of that responses, the most suitable or the best fit response has to be selected, and that is the solution of the problem. So these are the three definitions as far as the problem solving is concerned. Now let us talk some introductory part of the problem solving. The psychological researches such as goal-directed creative thinking are pooled together to come up with the solutions. Yes, it's very important. The moment you face problems or some hurdles or some challenges, at that moment, our psychological resources has to be pooled together, and they have to be pressed into service to come out with the solution of the particular problem. And they are such as the goal directed thinking, that's creativity, your attention, your perception, your observation skills, and your processing speed, everything that has to come together to come out with the best fit solution of the particular problem the individual is facing. The individuals who use these resources intelligently and tactfully solve complex problems easily because they have better processing speed. They are known to be a good problem solvers because they have a good cognitive ability. So the point here is everyone is gifted with a pool of cognitive resources. The point is we have how much tactfully, intelligently utilize the resources, or judicially we utilize the resources for the solution of the particular or specific problems. So that is the point. Being a cognitive process, I told you problem solving the cognitive process, it follows a certain sequence, or we can say that there is a well-ordered pattern to be followed to solve a problem. So you have to keep in your mind that whenever you face a problem, at that moment there has to be some sequence, observation of the problem, and that representation of the problem. These are the stages we'll come to in the next subsequent slides. We'll be discussing that. But before that, I'm telling that whenever we face a problem or a challenge, at that moment, that the cognitive process or cognitive system has to follow a particular set of sequence, set of order to come out with a best fit solution. And some psychologists call it as a problem solving cycle. Yes, that sequence, the role of that cognitive resources when they follow a particular sequence or particular order, that order they designate it as a problem solving cycle. The problem is half solved. It's a very interesting point here. When it is optimally represented in the landscape of the mind, the moment we understand the problem and we represent it meaningfully and we understand the all components of it, at that moment it is assumed that almost 50% problem has been solved. So it's a very interesting point. You too have come up with your such type of problems in daily life. The students, what they do is, whenever they get a in during their annual examination, whenever they get a question paper, what they do, they first read the question and they try to come out with the answer immediately. And the major issue is that they doesn't read the question meticulously. The reason is that they couldn't get the what the examiner want to know from you. But immediately they just give a glance to the question and start answering it. Before that, you have to represent that problem, you have to understand that problem, or at that moment you have to read out the question once, twice, or thrice. But the point is, you have to understand it, you have to comprehend it, what an examiner wants to know from you. At that moment only, the moment you understand the or represent the problem meaningfully in your cognitive system, then only you should start answering, or that you start pondering over the finding out the best fit solutions. So this is a very important point here. So it has been said that the half problem is solved the moment we represent the problem in the landscape of the mind. It is achieved by following a stereotypical sequence as suggested by Hayes. That is, stereotypical sequence means it's a pre-decided, or it's a everyone follows a particular set of cognitive ordering or cognitive system that has to come up with a various type of a sequence. That sequence has to be followed to come out with a solution to a particular problem or specific problem or set of problems. So this was some introductory part. Now let us move to the what are the particular or the 7 stages of the problem solving. As you know, there are 7 wonders in the world, or there is 7 colors in the rainbow, or there are 7 colors when you pass a light from the prism, or there is 7 sur in Indian classical music. So you must remember that, or that 7 colors in the rainbow. Similarly, there are 7 stages of the problem solving. Let us start with first identifying the problem. The second one is the representation of the problem, planning the solution, or setting the goals into sub goals. Then comes the evaluate all possible solutions, select one solution and execute it, and evaluate the solution or outcomes, and finally, this is very important, rethink and redefine problem and its solution. Now let us discuss each in little bit of detail. Before that, this is the problem solving cycle. As first stage, you can see identifying the problem, then comes the representation of the problem, planning the solution, evaluate all possible solutions, select one solution and execute it, then comes the evaluate the solution or outcome, and finally rethink and redefine the problem and solution. At that 7th point, 7th last stage, where if you find the problem, that solution is specific to the problem, the best fit, and your problem is solved, there is no need to further it, because the end has come up, you meet your goal. If you find there is some modification required, some change required, then you must start from the first step, and again you have to move to the last step following this problem solving cycle. This is, some psychologists call it the problem solving cycle, some call it the stages of problem solving. So you, my dear students, you must know, if someone asks you what is the problem solving cycle or define its all steps or stages, then also you have to define these things. Or if someone asks what are the stages of problem solving, in that case too you have to talk about this, and you have to discuss all these 7 steps in a little bit detail with a particular set of an example. So let us start with the first stage. In the light of a hypothetical problem or a challenge, we will take a hypothetical problem or a challenge and we'll be discussing each stage in the context of that particular problem or challenge. So this is the problem. Your big day, of course, marriage is approaching fast and you have to do lots of things. This is the problem. Oh, this is the challenge. So depends upon your mental setup whether you take it as a problem or a challenge. And I suggest we must take everything that every hurdle comes in our life as a challenge, because if you take it as a challenge, certainly we'll reach to this, we'll meet it and we'll find its solution. But the moment we take it a problem, there is some there is some disturbance in our system that whether we could find the solution or not. But if you take it a challenge, certainly we'll go for the solutions. This is my idea. It depends upon you how you take it. Now let us take it as a challenge. Your big day, of course, is marriage is approaching fast and you have to do lots of things. At this, if you take it as a challenge, the first stage is identifying the problem or the identification of the challenge. The most important step is the identification of the problem through differentiating facts from opinions. The first point is you have to differentiate which are the opinions, which are the facts. That is the important, and in that case you will be able to identify the problem to its core. In this process, problems are possible causes are identified. What are the causes that led to the particular problem? They are identified, they are defined, they are comprehended, they are pondered over, and they are understood. So at that point, this is your first challenge. At this, if you face this challenge, certainly you are going to face this challenge in coming couple of years or 2 3 years. If you are a student of college or a student of someone else, so you have to come up with this marriage challenge sooner or later. But at that point, first is you have to identify the problem. Only you identified that only 9 days are left for the big day, and you need to plan and do a lot. So this is the first step. You identified that that is the particular problem and only 9 days are left. So what thing you want to do is, so this is your first stage, that is identification of the problem. The second stage, representation of the problem. Representation means integration and translation of problem within the cognitive domain. Means you have to understand that, take out a meaningful uh, information from that problem. This means interpret the problem. A working mental model of the problem is constructed where each component of the problem is taken into account. That is, and the representation of problem is an important as finding solution of the problem. This is the important crucial step, because here you only define the problem, you understand the problem and its all components. Now let us come to our own challenge. Then only you know that 9 days are left. So what you have to do? Meeting the wedding demands needs understanding the requirements for which a cognitive map is to be created to achieve the goal within time frame, because you cannot postpone your marriage. In that case, what you have to do is you have to create a cognitive map. Think what thing you have to do. You have to get your specific or clothing. You have to book certain service providers. Everything you have to decide. You have to devise a cognitive map. What all thing will happen? What who all guest will be invited? Who will come? You have to print off the invitation cards. What everything you have to do is pre-wedding sessions, photography chaps, and all. You have to all these things. That is you. For that you have to create a cognitive map. For that you have to first understand the problem and represent in your cognitive domain. Then comes the third stage. Then plan the solutions. Then in this case, when you go in for the planning the solutions, in that case you have to set the sub goals. You have to divide the goals into some smaller sub goals. This will help you in meeting the challenges tactfully and economically. This is decision making stage, because you have to plan the solutions. And it's very important. Where probable solutions are listed, the solutions are subdivided into smaller goals that helps in generating alternatives. A comprehensive thought, generally known as the brainstorming, is applied to these potential solutions and sub solutions. This is here. You all, your family members sit together, brainstorm the issues, and come up with various alternatives, various problems. Now let us come to our problem, our challenge. Now you have identified the problem, you represented it, you understood it, then comes the you to plan the solutions. The probable soaps for shopping various articles, such as your clothing, your shoes, for your family members, for the person who are going to attend the marriage, for your relatives. All you have to do various activities. You have to plan the solutions for the water arrangement, for the food, and they are going to stay for the their arrangements. Everything, several things has to be done. For all this, we have to plan the solutions, and these things have to be earmarked. Wedding venues, caterers, all identified for the final booking. So this is the stage where you have to take decisions. This is the decision-making stage. Then comes the fourth stage. Evaluate all possible solutions. In this stage, all identified possible potential solutions, including proven, are evaluated. You know, particular soap is famous for providing the wedding dress, but still you have to evaluate it. You know that particular caterer is providing best food in the best rates. In that case too, you have to evaluate them. And because evaluation is required so that solutions are whether they are efficient in meeting the requirements thrown upon by the problem, whether they are efficient to meet your problems. Are they efficient? Are the caterer, particular caterer is famous in your town, is efficient enough to meet the challenges thrown upon by your own problem? Because there may be the guest, the guest have different taste, or the guest have a large number of guests. Post evaluation, the selected alternatives is to be clearly stated and explained. Let us come to our own problem. After all, shops, venues, and other service providers are evaluated for providing best service in time at reasonable rates. This means you have to evaluate that particular individual, that particular wedding venue, what is their rate, what is that shopping rates there, how that things will become up, the caterers, what is their quality of the food, the rate, the variety of the food articles. Everything has to be evaluated in the light of your problems. Then comes the fifth stage, that is select one solution and execute it. This is very, very important, and this is very crucial because it will impact on the outcome. Its impact will be huge if you make a mistake at this stage, because this stage is after evaluating various solutions. From that, you have to select the best fit solution. No, you must ensure here that it is not solution as per the problem solution. It is as per your will and wish, because you evaluate everything. It is not perfect one, but you are assuming that it is going to be perfect or the best fit. At this stage, the one probable solution is selected among the all evaluated solution for implementation. The implementation process is a crucial step because it will have huge impact on the outcome, as I told you earlier. Now let us come to the our problem. Now earmark the favorite shop for your wedding dress. And another important set of apparels. Earmark best venue and other service providers who provide timely best service within reasonable rates. These things you have to consider in mind while selecting the solution and executing it. And here the point is, you have to selecting one solution, and execute means you have to book. You have to book the wedding venues. You have to book the caterer. You have to book the water providers. You have to book the other service providers. That is the band wala and or DJ people. You have to book all these things. This is the point where you are making, you are executing your solution. And now, unleash your feelings and emotions and go for shopping spree. Means start giving advances and start purchasing your items for your big day. Then comes the sixth stage. Evaluate the solution or the outcome. Here you have done booking. Now your wedding day has approached. You have implemented the problem. Everything has gone smoothly. You are now, the sixth stage is stage of technicalities, where the outcome of the problem solution is objectively evaluated. Whether everything goes as per your plan, whether the wedding menu was as per the taste of your guests, as per the food was, the variety and the quality of the food was as per the taste of your guest, or as per your requirements. This means this is evaluation stage where you have implemented the solution, and that point is the what are the outcomes you faced, and these outcomes are to be objectively evaluated. Each aspect of outcome is carefully, without any bias or prejudice, is weighed for its pro and con. There should be no bias. If required, feedback from all the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Your guests who attended your wedding. You have to seek the feedback from that. What was the quality of the food, whether the service provided by the various service provider was the as per your will and wish, as per your satisfaction level. So that feedback is very important, because that will help you in evaluation of the outcome. And now, after you have made your purchases, test each for its color combination, cost, fitting, your looks, etc. Seek others' help in analysis, and ask them that they are free to criticize if they feel like to do so. And do not worry, you still have time to replacement. Means at this stage, so there is a contradictory point which I discussed in these 2 points here. But you made purchases. Purchases means you have already executed the potential solution. After that, evaluate it. And post evaluation, you'll get the feedback from your friends, your relatives, and you will be coming with the best fit solutions as well as the further outcomes. Now, the last stage, that's the rethink and redefine problem and solution. Everything has been done. This is review stage. Solution has been implemented, its outcomes has been objectively evaluated. After that, these are review stage where all solutions, outcomes, everything is to reviewed. If solution is you found the best fit, well and good, and if analysis done in previous step demands redefining refinement, then go for it. Do not object, do not hesitate to go for it. Suppose you purchase a particular wedding dress from an individual, particular shop. So we'll be discussing when come in our when we'll be discussing our own stage. So let us, why this stage is important? It will let you know what actually worked. Along with that, it will also let you know what didn't work. Along with that, it will provide feedback on effect and impact of the solution. And finally, this stage, the seventh stage, review stage, will offer scope for modification and reasons for the success and of course failure too. What are the reasons for the success and what are the reasons for the failure? So now, oh great, your D-Day was grand success. Congratulations for your marriage. Still, there are areas that needs refinement. You can look into that for the sake of younger sister or brother, and your experience will be valuable to them. So it is the point which I told you, that is review stage. There is your old plan worked perfectly, but still there is a scope for improvement, and you have to evaluate that. You have to review that in that what things worked and what didn't work, and you have to just focus on the point what thing didn't work, and that thing can be modified and can be implemented when in the next function, your younger sister or brother's marriage function. Your experience will be valuable for them. So dear friends, these were the 7 stages of the problem solving, or a problem solving circle or a cycle. And as there are 7 colors in the rainbow, therefore there are 7 stages in the problem solving. These are my references. You can always cross check them. And before that, let us review identification of the problem, then your representation of the problem. This is the second stage. Then evaluation, find the potential solutions, selection of the one solution, execute it, then evaluation of the whole outcomes, and finally a review of the problems, all the solutions. So these were the 7 stages. And they, how you feel about my videos and my quality of my material, you must let me know through your comments. You can write in my comment box, or you can email me at vermasudit@yahoo.com. Before that, I let you know in the next discussion or the next video, I'll be discussing with you the conversion thinking. It's very important. You must never forget to watch these videos. Once again, my dear friends, if you like it, share with your friends. If you dislike it, share with me. Thank you for watching this video.